everyone, my name is Eve and welcome to Books and Budgets. I'm starting this channel mostly to hold myself accountable for my family budget, my household income, and kind of keeping track of our expenses, making sure that we're focusing on our financial priorities, which I will touch on in other videos. But I wanted to give a quick little overview, or at least hopefully a quick overview of what our monthly budget generally looks like in the process that I walk through to establish that budget for a month. So just some general context here. I currently have a 2-person household, my husband and I, soon to be a 3-person household. We are welcoming a little boy this summer. If you can't tell from how out of breath I am, that's part of the reason why. But I digress. So again, this budget is essentially just to maintain me and my husband's lifestyle at the moment, but also prepping financially for the arrival of our baby. So I'm going to walk through how I set this up. So hopefully that will be helpful to some of you. We live in a moderate cost of living area. I wouldn't say it's high cost of living. We don't live in New York or San Francisco or anything like that, but we are in the suburbs of a major city. So, and we do own our house. I think groceries are high for everyone at this point. So, I'll let you be the judge of how high our cost of living is based on the amounts that you see here. Okay, but I'm going to walk through. So both my husband and I get paid generally twice a month. I get paid on the 7th and 22nd, which seems kind of random to me. He gets paid every other Friday. So typically it's twice a month. Sometimes it's 3 times. My paycheck is generally a little bit over $2,600. I like to round down in terms of our expected income. And I'm not a zero-based budgeter, at least at this point. I could see myself doing that eventually, but I just don't think that we currently have the financial discipline to make that happen. And I want to have a little bit left over in our bank account every month so that we can kind of have a buffer if need be. The rollover that you're seeing here is what was left over in our bank account from last month. And I would like to note that these amounts are after our tax withholdings, our Social Security withholdings, and our retirement withholdings from our paychecks. So anything that has, this is basically all that to say, this is our net income, not our gross income for the month. And this makes $9,539. It's actually about $8,800 if you just factor in the income alone, but like I said, we did have some rollover. Okay, so moving on to our fixed expenses, we have, and I'm actually gonna write in our income section here, that number again. Basically this to say, like, we have $9,500 to play with. Obviously it will be allocated to various places, including savings and sinking funds, but you get the idea. So in terms of our fixed expenses, I actually do put our mortgage in here. I know that it is debt, I'm well aware, but in terms of our financial priorities, paying off our mortgage is actually not a high priority for us. We tried to do an extra payment on our principal every year, so that we can hopefully pay off our 30-year mortgage in approximately 23 years, but our interest rate is below 3%. We're at 2.875 or something like that. So it's a very low interest rate, and we can actually save 4% or more in most high yield savings accounts. So we are focused, and in our retirement accounts as well. So we're focusing more on that, to putting money towards those things, and just doing a small extra amount, basically an extra $2,000 per year towards the mortgage. Let's see, I have a gym membership that I admittedly have not been taking advantage of for the last few months, as my second and third trimesters have been exhausting. But it's a pretty cheap gym. It's $42 a month. I will be getting back into that soon, hopefully, but I'm not going to cancel it right now. And my husband does not go to the gym. He's just one of those people who's naturally just, you know, loses weight by like blinking at a barbell. So he does not really need to. Subs here is subscriptions. So Spotify, Peacock, I think those are the two main ones. Apple storage, things like that. But I've rounded up here to 30. We also do have Netflix and Hulu, but those are paid for by our families, and they use our Peacock subscription. And I will say, just for reference for anyone watching, we've only been doing these budget sheets for a few months, so I think that we're going to be reformulating them in time as we kind of realize, oh, wait a minute, we totally forgot about this annual expense, you know, a membership for X, Y, and Z thing. We might see some changes in the future, but we do have, you know, enough of a financial buffer that we are not frightened by those amounts. I'm going to put our credit card minimum payment here, and then I'm going to also address it here as well. We have a balance of, I think it's about $300 from something that we purchased this month in May that we'll be paying off fairly soon. We'll be paying it off in full. We don't carry a balance from month to month, and we're actually credit card debt free, and we don't have student loans, so worth noting there. I think the minimum payment is the 7th, so I'm going to put that, and the minimum is over here. $30. Like I said, we're going to pay more than that, but the actual fixed expense of we have to pay this is just the 30. I contribute, again, I know this is technically a sinking fund as well, but to my Acorns account, just $10 a month. I do roundups as well. Our phone, actually, so this is going to increase in the future. I just moved to my husband's plan this month. So this, for June, will look higher, but for right now, this is just my husband's phone. The actual payment of the physical phone itself and the line, the data charges, it will be, I think it's $170 for the 2 lines moving forward. So next month that will look a little bit higher. Our car insurance, pay that on the 23rd, and that's $193. We have our Xfinity, which is our Wi-Fi cable that I'm hoping to get down. It's $145. And then this is very unique to us. This is not something that other people would have as a fixed expense. This is actually also technically a debt, but it is a 0% interest debt that we are more than on track to pay off on time. Green Sky is the lender that PermaSeal uses. Our basement flooded a few years ago, and we pay $105 a month for 60 months, 0% interest. As long as we pay it in those 60 months, we're fine. It's basically the same as like a balance transfer credit card would be. But because it's 0% interest, I know it is debt, I'm, again, well aware, but it is an expense that is a fixed amount that we pay every month. I am looking to pay this off early, but it's just not currently our top financial priority for this year because the baby's coming. And then I do put just a tiny little buffer, basically just in case there's an additional charge on any of these things, or interest, or I miscalculated the taxes or whatever else. But we're looking at $2,746 going towards our fixed expenses. And I'm going to write that down here. Sorry, I'm just checking to make sure that we're still in frame. Okay, and then variable expenses, I'm going to put groceries at $400 a month. Dining out, this includes not just like dates for us, but also like, oh, we're grabbing, you know, a sub sandwich on the way to something. We typically only go out on a like date a couple times a month, but sometimes we'll order in food too. I'm putting car gas, and I'm specifying because we also have like house gas. Car gas at $200. Only my husband usually needs to fill up multiple times a month. He's the only one with a commute. I work from home with my full-time job. So I fill up basically less than once a month. I essentially just run errands with our car. We have our electric bill, which is due on the 8th, which as of filming is today, which is $45.42. If I'm being very specific, it is May. This is the bill for April. We live in the Midwest and the United States, for anyone wondering. And the, what am I trying to say? The weather is not too bad, so we don't actually use our heat or our AC at this time of year, so the electric tends to be pretty low. Same goes for our gas bill. It's a lot lower than it, or it's decreasing with time. We use it at the beginning of the month, but not at the end of the month. So like 80 to 100 is what it is at its peak in the wintertime. But it gets down to like $40 a month when we're basically just using it for our oven and things like that. Our water bill is paid bi-monthly, and it also includes our gas. Not our gas. It also includes our garbage pickup and a few other like town related expenses. It's $160 every 2 months, so I put it at 80 per month. Let's see, we have a miscellaneous, again, kind of a shopping buffer. I know this sounds a little bit kooky to put this amount, but I'm going to put it at $500. We are, again, preparing for the arrival of our newborn son this summer, and so we're buying a lot of kind of baby specific things that we typically wouldn't buy. I am attending, or at least providing a gift for a family member's high school graduation party. Just gonna give $50 that his parents actually requested no gifts, but it is what it is. And then pest control, we do an eco-friendly pest spray in our grass, so hopefully to avoid impacting our pollinators on our flowers and shrubs. But we have our grass and our trees, like our shrubs, what am I trying to say? Our grass and we have like arborvitae trees that get just full of mosquitoes. So we have those sprayed. That's $85 a month with a premium from our pest control guy. And then lastly, this is a unique expense to this month. I'm planning my sister's baby shower. She is also pregnant right now. And I'm just hoping to pay the caterer for that event. It's not until July, but I don't know how much the amount is going to be, so I'm budgeting $1,000 just in case it is like they need a large amount up front. But I believe this amounts to $25.47 and 44 cents. Let me actually grab a calculator just to confirm that amount. I didn't bring a physical calculator with me, but I have my iPad next to me here so I can double check. Well, let me just do this. 700, 900. We'll just round here and say this is a little bit over 1,000. 1,100, 1,500, 2,500. I think it's about right. I might be missing something, but we'll roll with the punches here for right now. And then we have over here our savings and sinking funds. This is typically the only things that I will withdraw cash for. Most of our expenses we address just digitally or with auto pay, because I cannot be bothered to take money out of our bank and then put it back in every single time. So it's essentially just for our like cash stuffing sort of things that we'll have a physical sinking fund available. That includes car maintenance. I'm going to put $200 in because we just recently had some work done on my car. I know we're going to have some expenses this summer. Going to do our holiday binder, and I'll just give you a little peek at what that looks like here. I'm not actually going to like put money in it right now, but we have all of the major US holidays. I'm skipping, but you get the idea. They're all just little cute gnome themed cash envelopes. I will link where I got those on Etsy in the description. But I digress. I'd like to put in a little bit near the end of the month after we get our last paycheck. Just put in $200 to prep for some of those holidays. I think I'm going to put like 50 in Christmas and then kind of divvy up the rest between the other holidays. Okay, and then we have what I'm calling our shiny binder. And I will do cash stuffings of these binders when the time comes. This will also be on the 24th probably that I will stuff this. We're going to put 800 in here, and I will go through what all of these envelopes mean when that time comes. But we have a physical emergency fund. We also have a high yield savings account sinking fund for emergency. This is maybe minor emergencies, whereas that is larger, like house emergencies. Again, car maintenance, this is a physical one. Baby, I'm trying to put like about $3,000 away in cash to have for when he arrives, to cover some of our medical expenses, as well as any other unforeseen, just general baby costs. I've already had a baby shower. All of our needs are met in terms of the items that he needs, but better safe than sorry. Garage, we're trying to redo some of the features of our garage. It's just kind of an old falling apart little system, so hoping to get that done. This is kind of funny. So we have in this items for my husband, items for me, items for our house, essentially, with obviously a few exceptions that I've already listed. When we are allocating like personal funds to this binder every month, I'm typically put in like a round number. So we'll say 100 for my husband, 100 for me. His 100 all goes in here, and then my 100 is like divvied up in, various 20s or 25s into 4 or 5 different folders. That basically, this is his main priority right now. He really wants a Rolex watch. Not like one of the crazy ones, but he's saving up for like a used Rolex from the 90s. Frame TV, this is a specific kind of television by Samsung that we're really hoping to save for. Right now we have, 424 saved. We need another 236. It's going to cost a little over $600. New car, again, this is something that I have a digital sinking fund for with our high yield savings account. But this is the sort of additional expenses beyond the car itself. So insurance, a tank of gas, just a full tank to get me, back from the dealership or wherever I'm buying it from, and then license and registration costs. So I'm just looking to put $1,700 into this folder over the next year or so. So that's one of my like personal funds, as is computer. I'd like to get a new laptop for myself. I have not had a personal laptop in a long time. Washer, dryer, this is something that we're not it's not a high priority for us right now. We have a functioning washer and dryer. They are just as old as dirt, and we're just kind of prepping because that we think is the next appliance that will probably give out in the next few years. If it's another appliance instead, we might reallocate these funds into that, but trying to save $2,500 for a stackable front-loading washer dryer. And then trench coat is my last like personal, because I have not bought a new like cute coat for myself. I have like my puffy Midwestern winter coat, but haven't bought a new coat for myself in a while, and just gave away a few that don't fit me anymore. So I'd like to get a new one. Okay, anyways, I digress. That was a really long tangent, but that's the shiny binder. Into our high yield savings account, which is through Ally. I will put in a minimum of $600 every month. And then, Ally number 2, at the end of the month, whenever we have rollover, we didn't do it this time, as you can see, because we had $700 that rolled over, but at the end of most months, we will put in another $100, $200, something like that, towards that Ally account. I'm going to leave this blank for right now. We'll fill it in at the end of the month off camera. Then, as you saw in that shiny binder, we do have a little folder for baby, and I try to put in $500 out of the $800 into that. But we would like to, after my husband's second paycheck, put an additional $200. Really just trying to beef that up as much as we can. And then, because I'm hosting my sister's baby shower in July, sorry, I'm still literally so out of breath just from existing. I'm sitting down and talking, but I'm pooped. Third trimester is tough, guys. Anyways, we're trying to buy a party tent, so I'm going to put $150 towards that. We probably won't buy it until like the week prior to the event, but trying to get like one of those 10 by 10 or 20 by 10 party tents that we can use again in the future. And then, let's see that. So that I think amounts to about $2,000. Let's see. So we've got 1,000 here, 1,800, 2,000, 2,150. And then, last but not least, we've got that credit card. So I did put the minimum payment here. I'm going to put it here as well. We actually paid the minimum yesterday. The actual amount is $323. So whatever the remainder is, including the interest, we'll pay that off in full this month. I'm planning to pay it on the 10th after this second paycheck hits. And then the other thing that we would like to do, technically this is like a personal loan. I'm slowly paying my parents back for something that they lent to us to help us out in the early days of our marriage. It is interest-free. My parents were very generous in lending some money to us, so I just try to give them $100 a month to chip away at that amount. They actually have told me, like, it's forgiven, you don't have to pay us back, and I'm like, absolutely not. I fully intend to pay you back in full, because that is just how my brain works. I'm not gonna let that linger over my head, because though I love my parents, I want to pay my debts. And I do very much appreciate their generosity, for the record. It was really just very kind of them, and I'm very fortunate to have family that was liquid enough to assist us during that time of need. It was right around the time of our house flooding. So we just, we want to pay what's due, essentially. And then, okay, I'm basically, now that I'm done with all of these amounts, we're gonna subtract all of these values from this income value, and we'll have a leftover amount. So $95.39 minus $2,700, $2,500, $2,100, $400, and change for each of those, obviously. Give me just 1 second as I do that math off camera because, again, my calculator is not in the room with me. So we'll have about $1,600 left over. Some of that I'd like to roll over just to cover our first week of June, because as you can see, the first paycheck we typically don't get until the 7th of the month, unless it just so happens that there's a Friday between the 1st and the 6th of any month. But anyways, I just like to have a little bit left over to cover the kind of low number of expenses that we have. It's only like a couple, maybe 100 or 200 in any given month between groceries, gas, and then these 4 expenses here. And then the rest, whatever else, probably about $1,000 or so, we will put towards our savings and sinking funds. So maybe putting a little bit extra towards the shiny binder and putting an extra 100 or so towards the baby, and putting more towards our Ally account. I will show this another video, the amounts and what we have in our high yield savings as time goes on. But for now, this is our general budget for May. Oh, and sorry, my computer just decided to make a noise right in front of me. So our goals for this month are catering, to kind of put down the deposit for the caterer, and then also to save for the bébé in Moira Rose fashion, the bébé. So yeah, that's our general monthly budget. As you can see, I mean, we don't usually carry a balance. It just so happened that the purchase of this $323 was like right at the end of the billing cycle for April. So we're paying it in May, but there wasn't any interest accrued during that period. So we're just going to pay it off in May and get it done with. We might have like $2 of interest, but it should be fine. We typically don't have anything. And then the mortgage is the only true debt that we carry from month to month. Like I said, Green Sky, 0%. It will be paid off before the the final period, which is a couple of years from now. But we're just not prioritizing this at the moment. We are prioritizing this, as you can see from this large amount. I mean, it's almost as much as our fixed expenses are. But yeah, we're in a good spot financially, and we are, contributing really heavily to our retirement. So it's sort of, once the baby is born and we kind of get an idea of what our budget will look like month to month, once he's here, we'll start to contribute more aggressively towards the mortgage and towards these not baby related savings and sinking funds. But for now, this is where we're at. Okay, that is all that I have for all of you. Apologies for the length. It was really nice to get this down on paper. I welcome any questions. I'm going to try to answer them in the comments if there are any. I am open to feedback and suggestions, but please keep in mind, this is maybe not what every single month looks like for us. So take it with a grain of salt. We're doing our best to prepare for our new little friend more than anything else right now. And that's all I have for you today. I guess I will talk to you again soon. Thanks for tuning in to Books and Budgets, and I will chat again in our next video. Thanks.